Okay, first things first, I'm recording this video on my Mac, so I apologize that the quality probably sucks. However, welcome to this video, which is not like my normal content. I usually post like vlogs or a week in my life and all of that, but this video is strictly for the purpose of planting a seed in a way. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I'm planting the seed, this video, as a time capsule to look back in a couple of years to tell myself that this day trading journey was all worth it. So I also am using this as a way to hold myself accountable and just really remember my reason for this and remember my why. Today it is February 12th, a Thursday, and it is 6 p.m. I'm in my hotel room, so we have a quiet place to just talk, document this, and share it with the internet. I want to preface this video by saying that all of this is possible through God. If I didn't have God, there would be no trading journey. If I didn't have God, I would not be led here, because never in a million years did I think I would be led to day trading. Like, never in a million years. I thought I wanted to become a doctor. I thought I was going to go to med school, and I thought that I had a very different life for me, but that is just not the case. And I'm so blessed for everything that I've experienced in life, and to be led here, little me would be like, what even is day trading? I'm going to tell you that I am so blessed for God's guidance and for his direction, and I'm so blessed that I trusted his plan and followed his word. I think I've grown so much as a person and in my faith with this whole day trading thing, but I will say that it is only possible and it is only fueled by God's grace and by his word and through his own guidance. Not my own understanding, not my own will, not materialistic value, not money, not price on a screen, none of that. It's strictly through God. So I want to preface by saying that I think success in this journey and the willingness to keep going is possible only through the man above. I don't know how I would do it without my faith. So there's that. So a little bit about myself, you might be wondering. I am currently a college student. I am studying psychology and business, and no, I did not give up my career plans just to be a trader. I just want to put that out there because I genuinely think that while you're still learning a skill, you shouldn't neglect everything that you're constantly studying. That's where I'm at, and I do want to let you know that I am a college student and I am working still towards the career that I have for myself, but I am in this season of discovering trading because God did lead me here. I've also been following his calling on my life, just staying really close to that. So do want to let you know that I do go to school and stuff, and I am studying and I am getting my degree, and by no means at all am I an expert or guru at trading. It's been a growing journey for me, and there's so much for me to refine, so much that I'm still learning. Never want to be someone on the internet that claims myself as someone that knows it all, because with trading you could genuinely like not know it all. There are so many different strategies, so many ways to go about things, and so much psychology that you learn on a daily basis that you just can't know it all. So I will never frame myself as someone that fakes it till they make it. That's just not me, and that's not what I stand for. So I want to let you know that. So the big question is, why trading? I really discovered that trading is a mental game. It is all about your mindset, and it is you versus you. That is the only person you're up against. It's more so your ability to show up for yourself every day and never give up on yourself, because like I said in one of my TikToks that I posted, there's no way you could fail unless you willingly choose to quit. There's no way unless you remove yourself out of everything you're doing and close that chapter and leave. The reason I continue to stay here is because of the person that I'm becoming each and every day. Trading is something that requires you to have a strong mindset and the strong perspective to continue going even when things don't make sense or even when things don't align, and that's where God comes in, right? There's so many times where I think to myself, you know what, when will I see the light at the end of the tunnel? Are things really going to work out for me? What if I'm investing all this time, but it's getting me nowhere. And that's when I really have to ground myself and think that even with perfect technical analysis, or even someone with all of the skills or all of the strategies in trading, the only success and the only reward comes from God. I watched this video on YouTube once, and it said that God will make up for lost time. So even someone that's so successful and has everything, is profitable and, makes all of this, like, God could take that away in an instant. But also someone that is slow in their journey, or has been actively working, or, still doesn't know when they're gonna make it, God could take you and move you and push you, and get you to that finish line. So there's so many things that are not in our control. And when I really realized that and remembered that, why am I stressing over something that only God is in control of? Because with success and with especially money, God is in control of placing you in the right place at the right time. And so I continue to trust God's timing over mine, believe in His will over my own, and just surrender and give everything to Him. Because, like I said, trading is such a blessing, but as much as it's a blessing, it could also be such a dangerous game. And so understanding that is how I constantly fuel myself and how I remember to keep going on a daily basis. So a little bit about my journey. I first discovered options, and I actually didn't really know what trading was. Like, I thought it was only just one thing. Like, I thought stocks were just stocks. Like, I know this sounds really silly, but I thought stocks was just like one big thing. I thought it was just like every trader I thought was trading in just one pool, meaning like I didn't know that there were futures. I didn't know that there were options. Like, I thought it was just one thing in general until I really did my research and learned that, there's many different ways to trade. And so then I got into futures. I just thought it was much easier to understand. And even when I was very confused on a lot of things, I still was curious. So I urge you to stay curious because it makes things more interesting in a way. So rather than being confused or being like frustrated with things that you don't understand, just stay curious about it, because that's the only way you really learn. So even if you're watching a video on a certain topic that you're trying to learn, but you don't understand like the previous things that they're saying in order to teach you that skill, then research those things before learning the thing that you initially thought. Like, there's so many different ways to learn, and there's not one structured plan because everyone learns differently. But when you don't know something and you also are not familiar with certain terminology, or things in a video that maybe you should have known before studying that actual thing, like, I urge you to just be curious and learn about it. That's the only way you'll really get to learning. So even if you're like following someone's trading course on YouTube, sometimes there's things that they're gonna say that you won't know, and I just recommend that you take the time to really just look up everything that you don't know. It's completely fine, and everyone starts somewhere, and that's how I was trying to watch a bunch of different trading courses, but when I was watching their video, they would say certain things and I would be like, I have no idea what that means, and then I would go down another loophole of learning something first in order to watch that video again. So it's okay to do that, and sometimes it feels like a long journey, but honestly, take it at your own pace and understand that there is no really structured way to learn, because that person teaching you learned in their own way. So they're teaching you in the way that they know it. So allow yourself to, shape your own way of learning. In the beginning, I was really overwhelmed. Like, I thought I had to follow something, like a structured plan, and when I wasn't getting that, I was like, okay, maybe this is not for me, but it's just a matter of finding what works for you. So don't be afraid to kind of play around with how you're receiving that knowledge. And I want to talk more about my why for things and my purpose more so than technical analysis, because I think your reason for going into trading will be much more important than your strategy that you're learning, because ultimately what will keep you centered is your reason for doing this in the first place. It's really important to remember why. So my why for doing this is because I feel that it's brought me closer to God. I've always been someone that strived for a close relationship with God, and I do think that I have always had a close relationship with God, and that's something that I've always valued and prioritized. However, when I stepped into trading, the relationship that I've had with God has never been this close, and I really longed for this connection, and I felt his presence moving me each and every day. In the losses I would take, the wins that I would take, even the confusion, the doubt that I had in myself, I realized that I would be calling out to God and leaning on him, and I just found that so beautiful within trading. Even in a time of uncertainty and doubt, I found myself constantly reaching out to God for his help and his hand in my life. And I used to take losses, even on paper. When I would take losses on paper, I would be like, oh my God, like when I first started trading and I would be paper trading, when I would lose $30, I would be like sad in the mornings, and that would like carry on to the rest of my day. And at one point in my journey, I remember just being so drawn into like the profits and the losses, and like even just being in drawdown on paper, right? Like that really did mentally like shift me in a way. But then now, even when trading not on paper, losing $200, losing $300 doesn't feel like that anymore. And it's crazy because, when I first started, or when anyone kind of first starts trading, it's really scary to be in the market. It's really scary because it feels like this big thing that's like, wow, like they're out for you. Like it genuinely feels like that. At least that's how I felt. And I was so scared of risk. I think that's the number one thing I was fearful of, was risk. And I didn't know how to manage this until I really developed psychology and a grounding mindset that helped me look at money differently. I don't look at money the same anymore. That's not even only just in trading, but with everything in life, my perspective on money is so different to how it used to be. And in the beginning, I was so infatuated by the fact that you could make such a large amount of money in like 5 minutes, even less than that. Like to me, I couldn't fathom how it was possible to make that much money like from your phone or from your computer. It was just crazy to me. And in the beginning I was like, wow, like let me get into this, because I mean, like there's people here making a bag, there's people here that are making bank, and I wanted to go into that. And not gonna lie, like yes, of course, trading is nice. Do it from the comfort of your own home. You could do it on vacation. You could trade different sessions. Like it's so nice, and it's such a blessing to have all of that. But I just want to stress that that's also not the only reason why I trade. That's not like loving that for the fact of money and making a bag, or getting rich off this. Like that's not the end goal. The end goal is to make myself a better person, grow my relationship with God, source this through God, and just lean into knowing that I could do this, that I have the ability to do so. It's such a blessing to transform yourself and grow as a person, but not channel that into greed. That's how I view trading. See this as a process of trusting in yourself and trusting in God. Things get much easier. It's such a mental block to go through losses or go through times that feel stagnant. And I've kind of been dealing with that, feeling stagnant or feeling too comfortable, or sometimes I feel that I don't execute enough. Sometimes I feel that maybe I just need to be a little riskier. Like there's a lot of things that I talk to God about where I'm just like, I don't know where I go wrong. Sometimes I don't know if I'm not executing enough, or if I'm not taking enough risk, or I don't know if I'm being impatient with myself. Like I don't know, and there's still things that I don't know, and I have to pray about, and I have to ask God for. But ultimately, like, look at these things. These are things that I'm going through, things that I'm questioning, but who am I going to? I'm going to God, right? And that's what I love about it. That's genuinely why I keep going. That is my why. And so with trading, even though, I'm still getting better at this, and there's still a lot of things for me to learn, and there's still, things that I don't even know. Like there's things that I'm stuck on. I always circle back to God and my faith. If you're in your trading journey, or if you're feeling stuck if you don't know that this is for you, you were led here for a reason. Yes, it may take a while. I don't know how long I have until, things just magically work out, but things also don't magically work out. So whether you're in a season of feeling stuck or not knowing if this is your path, you were led here for a reason. For me, it was so random, and I never grew up with, I want to be a professional day trader. I didn't grow up like that. I didn't use an example to model off of in order to say, my dream is to be a profitable day trader. Like 10-year-old me, 13-year-old me, that was never, I didn't know what a day trader was. I never knew what that was before, and I didn't know what trading was until recently, but I got led here and I'm following it. I've never felt so called to something, and I do find that odd, because even with the things that I'm studying in school, even my career path, I've never really felt such a strong will or strong calling until one day I decided to start. I actually took action, looked for videos on YouTube, did all the research, even looked up definitions to things, went down this whole rabbit hole of understanding what it was. And once I did that, I got led to this thing, to point A, to point B, point C, so many different things. It really doesn't happen until you start. So if you're one of those people that keep telling yourself, I'm gonna start, don't brush it off. Don't save it for later. Start. That's the only way that you're going to make progress, is by starting. And even when you have days where you feel stuck, or you don't understand something, or it feels like you're maybe not getting anywhere, I promise you are. It's either you starting and trying, or you just not doing it. I really recommend that you just take action and start, even if you don't know what your plan is, because everyone starts somewhere. Even the most profitable people, even the most successful people that made it their full time, they started somewhere, and at one point they knew nothing. And one day I was studying trading, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to make a TikTok. I'm gonna make a TikTok for myself to document my journey. I made one video and I said how I am making this video. I just studied at a coffee shop, but I just want to say that I'm very thankful for this journey, and I want to thank God for guiding me. I want to plant this video as an accountability video to reference for myself. I posted that, and that account grew to over 20K followers ever since I've been posting about my journey. And I didn't think it would get to that, but then that was even just more reason, more confluence to continue my journey. And so as I've been growing my platform, as I've been growing my social media, not even for the intent of trying to grow it, I've been documenting my journey, which is my own growth and things that I'm learning. I never said that I'm a super profitable, I'm this person, I'm going to be a teach everyone. I first started my journey by documenting my own growth. I still am documenting my own growth, and I didn't think that it would grow to this point, but I do hope one day that it could get to a point where I grew in this, and I had a following that witnessed my growth from the start. I don't think there's ever a point in time where I feel that I will reach the top level of success, because I always think that there's still room to grow. There's no way to be 100%, I'm successful and I'm done. I don't think you could ever stop. There's always room to get better, and that's the reason why I say that there's no definition of being done for me, because I think that every day of life gives you the opportunity to be better than yesterday. I do pray and I do hope that I can continue being someone that grows my skill, grows my love for trading, and then is able to help other people. I really want to get to that point, and I've been building myself so that I can, help build others. And that's really what I want to do, and that's really what I want to see for the people that are watching this. I also talk about God and talk about my faith so much in my videos, not just by coincidence or not just by accident, but for the reason of telling you that my faith means so much to me, and I want you to be able to also lean on God and open your heart to Him and give your own trading journey to God, because He will get you there just as much as He could jumpstart you and push you progressively to one point. That person that maybe has it all, God could also take things from them, but for a reason. And that's why I say that when you feel lost in your journey, God could just randomly take you and place you further. But also when you feel like you've made it, God could also remove those things out of your life because he's trying to teach you something or tell you something or maybe tell you to slow down. He never does these things with the intent of harming you, but he does it for a reason, and you have to trust that his plan will work out according to his timeline, because ultimately he knows best. For profitability and for success and for, you know, consistency with trading, I think being able to really just lean on God and let him take you there in his perfect timing is key. That's the key. That's the method. I just want to plant this seed to let you all know that my own strength in this journey, my own will, is all through God. There's still a lot of things that I'm getting better at. There's still days that I go through it and I wake up and I'm just like, wow, like I lost this much yesterday. And there's also days where I'm like, you know what, I made this much one day, and then, you know, keep going. But ultimately, like, even with the profits and, you know, the wins, the losses, you could be the most greedy person that won't keep you going. You could be someone that loses money, that won't keep you going, right? So even with wins and losses, it can only take you so far. And so that's why I say that your mental, your psychology, your mindset is what is the driving factor in continuing your day trading journey. I'm planting this as a seed to look back on in a couple of years to tell myself that it was all worth it. You know, I feel like such a changed person from even before I started trading. The way that you are carrying yourself, viewing yourself, even just respecting yourself, makes you realize a lot of things that maybe you haven't realized before. But that's the beauty of it. Stay grounded and don't let the charts consume you. Don't let, you know, candlesticks consume you. Because ultimately you shouldn't be owned by the charts. You shouldn't be so, you know, controlled by price action or all of this. Like, don't let it own you. If it owns you, then what's the point in trading if it feels like you're under or run by a system? That's not the key. You want to see trading as something that could be freeing. You want to see something that changes you for good. For those of you asking, you know, like, how did you actually start? How did it start making sense to you? I think what I started with was understanding basic terminology. Bullish, bearish, uptrend, downtrend, higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, all of that, market structure, candlestick anatomy, learning how to use TradingView. When I first hopped on TradingView, I was like, what the heck? What is this? It looked so foreign to me. I didn't understand it. It was a whole different language. But the more you get into it and the more you know, use it, or just the more you explore things, it'll all make sense. Just how, you know, anything you learn, you have to get used to that exposure. You have to keep training yourself on it. So make it a routine for yourself. Make it a priority to study each and every day and take it at your own pace. You know, comparison and greed really does get in the way, but don't compare your journey to someone else's when you know that you learn things differently. You know, I think it's so good to surround yourself with people who trade and with people that are in the same, you know, mindset as you to make themselves a better person, but also don't try to use that as a way of saying like, oh, this person already understands this, or they made this much money, like I have to, like I feel behind. Like, don't look at it like that, because it could be easy to do so. And at one point I was like, wow, there's, you know, a lot of people around me that know this, and like how will I get there? But you always have to take it at your own pace. Just know and trust yourself that you will get there. It's just a matter of time. So keep going. I really recommend that you keep going. Even in my hard days, I am just so grateful for even being led here in the first place, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And so I will keep going, and I am leaving this video out here on the internet and on my YouTube to look back on. So future me, if you're watching this, I am very proud of where you are at right now, and I am most importantly grateful that you open your heart to God, and it couldn't be possible without him in life. So I'm grateful and happy that you decided to take that leap of faith. Little note to self. But I'll go through more of an in-depth video on like more so like technical analysis, strategy, and all of that. But I first wanted to have one of these videos where I'm just talking about my purpose, my reason for going, what fuels me, how I look at trading, because I think that's most important. Like the whole psychology and mindset thing is always going to top the technical analysis and the strategy. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this. I hope that this helped open your eyes about trading and just in general helped to keep you going, because I'm still in my phases where I'm learning a lot and I'm refining things constantly. I'm not a pro, I'm not an expert, I'm still applying things on a daily basis, and I am always trying to be better. That's just my 2 cents on it, and I hope that I can help you or bring you closer to God, because God is ready to get things moving in your life. Just open your heart to Him, open your mind, let Him renew you. And yeah, okay, bye. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'll see you in the next one.